And we are live. So obviously we'll wait for a few more people to come in. But for the people that will watch it on the pre-record, you have joined Lucas Lawman's on Kiwi Voice with the man Sesh. Now, do you prefer Sesh, Dirty Sesh, or your actual name?
Oh, just Sesh. Sesh is good.
Sesh is cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so really appreciate Sesh taking some time to hang out with us. Just have a bit of a yarn Kiwi Voice style. We are going to be just learning a bit about the man. Obviously, what we've all been talking about in the last, 2 years almost, really, what Sesh has been doing in that space, as well as what he is thinking going forward. So whereabouts are you based, Sesh?
Right now, I'm based in Auckland.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, right cool. In the city.
Oh, nice. So you've been there most of your life, or?
Yeah, most of my life. Right now, I am. I was based in Australia the past 3 years.
Okay. Yep.
But obviously, due to certain circumstances, I had to come back here.
Yeah, gotcha. You made the call sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, there was no other choice, was there?
Yeah. Nice. All right, we've got sort of 26 people on, so we'll jump into the officialities pretty shortly. We usually get anywhere, Sesh, from sort of 50 to 150, depends on what's going on. So we'll see how we go. But obviously, this will post up onto Kiwi Voice. The page itself is something that people can watch later. So we'll dive into it. So, Sesh, tell us a little bit about you personally, as much as you're comfortable with. Sort of how you got to where you are now. Who is Sesh?
So I am a musician. That was my first love, from making beats to writing songs, performing. I love performing. I also love the film stuff as well. Like I direct a lot of music videos for myself, other people. Looking to hopefully do short films in the future. I love all aspects of like film and music, and I've been doing this stuff since I was 16, pretty much.
Yep.
And I've always had a fascination with it. And I guess since this whole pandemic thing has happened, I've kind of tapped into my funny side. I guess I've always been kind of, naturally funny with my friends. I'm usually the funny friend. But I never really took it serious in a way of like using it to make content, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Communicate, yeah.
Yeah, until obviously recent in the last 6 months. And since I got stuck here in New Zealand, I thought, you know what, if I have all this frustration inside of me, I might as well let it out to someone or something. And who better than everybody in charge?
Yeah, for sure. So do you edit all your, absolutely. Do you edit all your own stuff, the Instagram and Facebook stuff you're doing? Do you edit all that yourself?
Yep. I'm a one-man band man, as they would say. I do everything. Yeah, I make music. I film it. I edit it. I piece everything together to make sure it's really good for when you guys go to watch it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, thinking back to that session in terms of you saying hip hop being your first love or music being your first love, and video making, etc. I think back to, for those that don't know, so we'll jump into that little quick background. A lot of people that'll be jumping on the stream now. Thanks everyone that is, and all the comments, really appreciate it. Or anyone that comes and watches us later will a majority, I would say, will most likely know you from your recent exploits, like you say, in the last 6-9 months around the political commentary, satire, video making that you've been doing. However, obviously you were you had a number one in New Zealand, didn't you?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, back in 2010, I think it was, with a fairly controversial video, an epic song called Forever. And what I was leaning to, I guess, around your video making. So Let Me Go, the track where you go in and out of the doors. And did you have a hand in making that vid?
So basically with both those videos, songs you mentioned, that they had their own directors, and I basically consulted with them. So we would have like Forever, I sat down with Tim and we had, I had a meeting, and basically our meeting consisted of like 2 hours of talking about what horror movies we love, and the film stuff that we love, and just nerding out. And then when it came to Let Me Go, the director of that film, he's gonna hate me off. I'm mind of his name, but when he shot my video, he already had the idea, and he had it from some Matt Damon film, I think.
Oh yeah,
I forgot what it's called, but I've seen the film. But basically, they're detectives that transition through different doors, and they end up in all these different. And I was like, sounds a bit out there. I mean, he pulled that off, and he did it. Yeah, and I was with it. Like at the end of the day, obviously, I still have to be okay with the ideas that they're presenting. So yeah, in some sort of way, I was a part of those.
Yeah, awesome. Like I say, big fan of that stuff. That video in particular still gets played now. Bloody, it's cool. Super cool, super cool. I honestly thought back then, not trying to blow too much smoke up your ass, but I was wondering why this wasn't getting noticed more. Did you go overseas at all to take your craft overseas? Other than you mentioned Australia, but
well, when I was doing that, I was actually those songs. I was signed to a label. I was signed to Move the Crowd, and we were distributed through Universal and Warner's, etc. So they basically made the decisions. And when it came to Let Me Go, I mean, that was a song that was already presented to me with the hook on it. So
gotcha.
Beach from Smash Proof he wrote that hook, and he was already singing it. And at the time, my boss, he was like, I think this would suit Sesh's second album. And he sent it to me, and I liked it. I actually liked it. I was like, yo, and this is before ghostwriting was as mainstream as it is now. And I thought that video was dope as well. I guess like with all the backlash probably from the Forever video, they were a bit hesitant in pushing me. But I mean, that's just how it goes when you're dealing with labels and politics and stuff like that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, 100%. And I think the Forever video, it was almost that. I mean, we're talking, like I say, 2010, 2011, right? And for me, when we look at where we are at now, and you'll know all about this, Sesh, regards online censorship and going a certain way in terms of a narrative and what can and can't be said. Forever, in the way that the controversy that it created at the time was almost like a little bit of the beginning of that, right? Well, that's how it feels to me. It was an artistic video, and yet, it was widely sort of blocked in a lot of places.
Yeah, well, these are things that I kind of learned throughout my years of dealing with stuff like that. That was the first thing, because, I still see people now, like, who are against whatever I'm doing, posting those news articles like,
oh gosh,
you're going to do something. Like, I don't know what you're doing except promote. Can you promote my new stuff? Because you know what I mean. Like, that's not gonna get me canceled or anything like that. Like the guy who actually made the article, he called me, and he basically pretended like he was a massive fan, and this is all going to be good publicity. And he started asking me all these questions. Then halfway through the interview, he started going on about rape stuff, and I was like,
"Oh, here we go."
What? Yeah. So I fucking did your video, and I've shown it to all these things, and I was like, "You showed it to who?" And then obviously it came out that we try to take taxpayers' money and shoot some sort of dirty film, which was not the case. The inspiration is actually from Zodiac, the movie Zodiac. If you watch it, there's actually a scene from Zodiac that we ripped from there, and I didn't even realize that till like years later when I actually watched that film, because Tim had told me about it. He was like, "Have you seen this movie?" Da 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 da. I was like, "Nah, I haven't seen it, but it sounds dope." And so we did that particular scene, right? And basically, like, overall, I'm playing Michael Myers. We were making out a horror film, but And that's what happens when you start going against the grain, right? Because everybody was just, and everybody here in New Zealand wants to be presented as they want it to be like, I don't want to mention other artists' names, but there are a few artists that do it really well, where it's like they're clean, green, and they sound mean. But they don't get their hands dirty, and we're not going to put any dirtiness on it because that's not who we are as New Zealand. We are green, peaceful people, you know. And this guy over here trying to be Freddy Krueger is just no, that's not it. And you know, and I guess throughout my whole career, I've kind of worn that Joker face, I guess, even now with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like no one else is no one else is doing kind of like the way I'm presenting.
Not at all.
You know.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. And I mean, we'll move past the hip hop shortly, but I mean, that video for me again was brilliant. It's apologies to everyone that's watching the live stream, and I'm geeking out. But yeah, I watched the extended version right from way back then, and I just artistically, it is frightening. It's designed to be that way. It's really well done. So hard to get hold of now if you want to find the full version, eh?
Yeah, we're just trying to push buttons, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why just try and do what everyone else is doing just to fit in? Like, no, I like to stand out. And that's how I've always felt about myself. I always felt like I'm different and in a good way. And in terms of like, you know, it's hard to explain because it just sounds like full of myself, but I don't mean it like that. I mean it from like confidence. Like I mean, like, yeah, I wanted to stand out. I felt like I was better than all these people they were investing money into. And as soon as it got like a little flight and actually surpassed a lot of people that were the hot thing at the time. Sorry, it's very blown, so I'm trying to figure out where I am. At the time we blew past them, it was just like everybody just kind of wanted to turn off. Like I'm talking about everybody in terms of like, you know, the higher up people that make all the decisions and stuff. So
yeah.
Real quick. I remember. I just want to say this. I remember.
Don't say quick. Take your time. Say as much as you like.
I remember the boss saying. He said to me, he goes, you know, we're gonna take the video down. And I was like, and bro, remember this is when like YouTube wasn't YouTube. So, like, it hit the news, and we did like 20 or 50,000 views overnight. And back then, that's like getting 500,000, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember they were like, we're gonna take it down. We have to take it down. I was like, no, we should make more. We should make another one. Like, what are you talking about? Like, let's capitalize on this. But everybody was like, no, because I'm in bed with this person, and I don't want to upset this person. And it's just like, I guess that's why I ended up going independent years later, and kind of still fulfilling what I wanted to fulfill in music.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and like a lot of those themes that you're talking about in terms of the man or the elite or the managers, the controllers, whatever, sort of leads us into what you've started to do do more of now. In terms of, or actually, before I get into the political stuff, Sesh, we'll finish off the music side of things. So what's your plans for your hip hop, your music going forward? You got an album in the works, or what's the go?
I've got an EP that's already kind of recorded. It's not mixed or anything, but everything is written and it's put down. But I don't think that's what I need to put out right now. So in terms of music, I have a single coming out in the next month. It's called "You're Not My Mum." I wrote it based around, I guess I'll just say like it's based around Jacinda and everything that's like we here in New Zealand have gone through. It's a cheek and tongue in cheek kind of song. And we're just planning the video right now. I've got a team right now. I've got a video team at the moment with me, and we're just trying to get a club. I can't say which one, but we're trying to get a club locked up so we can film there, because I really wanted to. These guys wanted me to do like they wanted me to do like a "Hi, my name is" type thing. Dress up as different characters and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool, but I was like, I kind of want to do something different. So I really wanted to try and do like a short film for it. I mean, when you hear the song, it sounds fun, right? It's very like I said, tongue in cheek, but I wanted to try do something that's out of my comfort zone and something that I haven't done 120 times already. I'm done performing to the camera and just rapping to a camera while we're walking or whatever. That's dumb. I wanted to do something else. So I took a page out of the Joker film. And we're
the recent one?
The Joaquin Phoenix one.
Yeah. Brilliant movie.
Yeah, and try to take a little piece out of that, and hopefully I'll be able to, if we lock in the club, I'll be able to play a stand-up comedian and do something along those lines and make a little short film.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds really cool. We'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, so moving on to the political satire, commentary, video making stuff, which has just been fantastic. And obviously, so you say you've been doing it about 6 months or so, you said?
Yeah. Well,
yep.
The comedy stuff, yes. Like the funny like videos I've been doing, for the last about 6 months. But in terms of saying stuff, I was saying stuff since like the beginning of 2020. My first thing that I released, which was called the Freedom Freestyle, I put that out in May. And not everybody, like there was like a few people that were like, yeah. But remember, this is early. This is when everybody thought we only needed 1 month to lock down and everything would go back to normal, right? And it was just flooded with like, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? You're free. You're in Australia, right? Because I was in Aussie at the time. You're in Australia. We're in New Zealand. What are you talking about? What about these people? Blah, 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 blah. Fast forward 2 years, everything I said came true.
Yeah. So what part of Aussie were you in at that stage?
I was in Brisbane.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm the same when I look back at that time. So they'd been on an international trip with my father in America, and I got back on the day New Zealand locked down. And I remember it was a few weeks into that first lockdown, as you said, and I watched the movie Plandemic and sort of, raised a few questions for me. And then it wasn't too long after that was sort of seen as, that's completely nuts. And I thought, that was completely nuts. Forgot about it, and I watched it again this year, and I was like, oh, right. A lot of that's actually true. So that early on, it was such a crazy time in terms of questioning things. Like you say, it has eased off slightly, but we're still going through the motions. So what motivated you to get into doing more of these videos and speaking out louder? You said you were speaking out already, but speaking out louder, you've grown to almost 60,000 followers of this short period of time. So what motivated you to make some noise?
I guess things that were affecting my life, my personal life, that were out of my control. I remember I flew back on a green flight, which they're still trying to charge me for, a green flight from Brisbane last year. And they threw me into isolation because my last destination prior to that was Sydney, because I went to Sydney, then I went to Newcastle, stayed in Newcastle, and then Sydney shut down. So I didn't want to go back to Sydney, or else I'd be in a red zone, right? So I went to Brisbane and caught a flight from there to New Zealand. They threw me in quarantine, nobody else. And apparently this was all over a deadly virus, remember? So if I was a close contact to all those people and so serious, those people should have come off the flight, but nobody else did, just me. Even though I had paid like $200 for 2 PCR tests just to come back, showed them both of them were negative. They didn't care. So that's when I got stuck in there for obviously another 2 weeks. And all I'm seeing is like they don't really have much on. Luckily, I had a PlayStation, but there's no Wi-Fi, so I got nothing really to do in there except watch like the news. So that was just knowing what I know and what I could see, it was just fucking burning. It was just burning inside of me, man. So I started doing little skits and shit like that. And then once we went into lockdown here around August, that's when I was like, nah, bro. I'm not here and just like listen to this and be like, okay, yeah, all right, what's going on? No, I'm doing that. And I'll be honest, I was frustrated, I was angry, and obviously I'm not gonna come online and be like, "Yo, guys," I've seen a couple like people, or I wouldn't say celebrities, but like people here in New Zealand who had a following. The government is blah, blah. I was never gonna do that. I was like, I need to figure out a witty way to do this, and I'm already a smartass, so why not like be a smartass to these people, And that's how it kind of came across, came about. Sorry.
Yeah, so you, and also it sounds like you need a creative outlet most of the time, and that would have added or helped with that.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It was just like every time I made those videos, I just felt better. I felt better because it was like there was no one to talk to about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like everyone just looks at you like you're crazy. People are like, just shut the fuck up and go get the jab, bro. It'll be all.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
Kind of stuff. So. Yeah, man. It was once I would do it, like there was just this yuck feeling inside, and I was like, it wouldn't go. It only went away once I would make those videos. So that's really how it came about. I wasn't really looking for like, ooh, this is gonna get me followers and likes and comments. I was just like, fuck you, fuck this. That's basically how it came along, and then. Obviously, it looked like a lot of other people started feeling the same way that I was thinking, So,
yeah.
It ended up being almost like a voice for people that were voiceless.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm totally with you. So, I feel a little bit the same way. Sort of just had a niggling thing. I feel like I still need to say more. So that's the same reason I've pushed further into Kiwi Voice. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. And a lot of our viewers, thanks to everyone that continues to comment. We got shitloads of comments up there. So I'll do my usual and go through after the live has ended, everyone, and try and answer most of those. But yeah, so
everybody watching, sorry, dude. So everybody
that's
watching,
right.
I can't see your comments. Just in case you're right, I did an interview last week, and I could see the comments, and we were answering and stuff like that. But this one, I'm sorry, dude. Like if you're writing to me, I'm sure I'll see it after this when I watch this back.
Yeah, apologies. Yes, Sesh, it's a good point. I should have clarified that off with you. I'm sure there's a way that I can select an option to make you see it, but we'll figure that out. But so you can jump on and answer them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Usually they're probably just like right now. Why isn't he reading anything? Because I can't see it.
Sweet, all good. Alrighty. So when the response from the public, I've put a comment or a question down around that. So I've seen you on a couple of lives at protests, Freedom Rights Coalition protests, and a few other bits and pieces out and about. What's the public reception been like? I notice you do sort of shake hands with people that are fans, etc. But overall, what's your feeling been when you're out and about?
Man, it's like honestly, it blows me away. It would blow me away when I'd be out there because, like I said, I don't do this for anything. I'm not looking to get like famous or whatever, like from doing whatever I'm doing. I'm just being me. So the response would be obviously like just people thanking me and just thanking me, I guess, like a lot of that, and it gets a bit overwhelming how many people like know who I am and stuff like that when I would go there. Like it's all good, all positive stuff. Just I guess from doing music to this stuff and seeing the response, it's like this has been a greater response than I would say the music as well, So it's been really good, really good.
I think there's the environment there, Sesh, in New Zealand in general. I mean, a lot of places in the world, but it's really ramped up in that last sort of 9 months since my friend the vaccine pass and other bits and pieces have come in, and people are thankful. I get a lot of those comments as well just for doing these kind of interviews. So it is a positive thing. So it's cool to hear that. Speaking of protests, so like I said, I've seen you attend a few Freedom Rights Coalition protests in Auckland, etc. So how do you find those in terms of environment, etc.? Do you enjoy them? Do you think they're having an effect? Tell us a bit about your thoughts around those.
Yeah, I enjoy them, man. Like the vibe is always good. That's why I'm always like, I guess that's why I'm so hard in my content when I would see like the news say like, all these radicals or whatever, like all these people out here just causing commotion and stuff. Is like, you're only saying that because you're not out here in these streets, man, and I am, and it's not like that. Everybody is good vibes. Nobody is out here like, and yeah, obviously you get a couple dickheads here and there. Like that's with anything, man. You would get dickheads at an opposition party as well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
At an opposed event, you would get dicks as there, but it's like they just use those two people as examples and go, the rest of you 10,000 people, you were all like that. And it's just like, that's not the case. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good vibes. I love the big one that we had last year in Auckland. I really loved the one that I went to in Wellington, the big one in Wellington. And yeah, it's just all good stuff, eh? Like it's all good vibes. Like I remember I watched some of those protest videos that the news was showing with like I know I did a bit on it, but with like the police going in and stomping out tents and things on fire. I'm like, are you sure you didn't light those on fire? Because I wouldn't see. Yeah, it's just unless you're down there, you don't understand.
100%. Yeah,
you are down there and you're on the opposed side, and someone does one little thing to you, you go, they're all like that, and that's just not the case. It's not the case.
Yeah, and we've been battling that. I don't know if you had a chance to go through Kiwi Voice there, but I cover we have fairly solid protests every bloody weekend here in Christchurch with the Freedom and Rights Coalition. Derek Tate's doing an awesome job of letting us down some great marches, super organised, super peaceful, etc. But yeah, the mainstream media coverage, which has been getting more frequent, is very much directed in that one way, like you say. Like literally last weekend, one of the smaller ones, but still we're still talking somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people. And you arrive there and you can see the mainstream media guys, and they were in the corner, literally crowding like the two hard right wing guys that were there. Whatever, I don't really care about the fine people, whatever, but they were focusing on them while there was like 498 people behind them. It was literally that meme that you've seen about the Canadian trucker protest in action. It was crazy. So yeah, I get exactly what you feel, and I also feel the peace and the unity and the acceptance when you're at these things. Yeah. They do a great job of that. Do you think this protest action, not just the Freedom and Rights Coalition stuff, but the other bits and pieces that are going around, the Voices for Freedom sign holding, some of the Unite stuff in Wellington, do you think that shit's working?
Yeah, to a certain degree. I believe that the one that long one in Wellington really worked. Whether they want to say no, we didn't do it because of that. No, you did because nobody was going to leave. And you can't go around shooting anybody to get them off your lawn, so you had to do something, So yeah, I do believe that they are working. How long they'll work, I don't know. And I say that to clarify. I say that because I feel like these guys already have a plan. They already I'm talking about like up there. They already have a plan. They know what their plan is, and they know how to execute it. No matter who's waving a flag or a sign or whatever, they're still, at the end of the day, for some reason, these other human beings who are just like us get to dictate what we do, whether we like it or not. And I always say, if they told you COVID doesn't exist tomorrow, you would believe it. You would, because that's just who we are, I guess, as humans. Like, okay, I guess we're all good now. Just like, I went out with a friend today, and he was like, we went and ate at the mall or something, and he was like, man, so good to be in orange. I was like, fuck, I thought we were in green. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, what? We're still in an orange? That blew my mind. I was like, what? I'm pretty sure everybody's outside like it's green. I don't. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. I hope they continue to carry on, and surely it will make a difference in the long run.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you, and that's what I find. So I do a bit of a roundup with mainstream media every other day kind of thing, and it appears because most people don't want to brave that shit anymore. And talking about the levels that you're saying, I did a bit of an update. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday when they did the announcement? And all the comments I got was, "Oh, thanks for sharing this with us because we just don't want to watch that crap." Because no one, that's it. You just don't know. It's confusing and ridiculous. Yeah, I'm totally with you. And you just reference your comment. And for everyone that is watching, around, there's a plan up above. Eventually, I will get there, team, in terms of talking about some of those globalist organisations, etc. And it would be awesome, Sesh, to hear what you've got to say about that, potentially at a later date. It sounds like you might have some idea or some opinion on that side of things as well. Talking WEF and UN and all of that sort of carry on. Okay, so how do you see the future with the political and social environment in New Zealand? Hopefully this question isn't too long and heavy. What do you think is the most pressing issue in New Zealand society right now? So let's take that back. How do you see the future with politics and social environment in New Zealand, meaning, the upcoming election and what's happening with the division in the society at the moment?
Ooh, well, yeah, that's a bit of a tough one.
Do you think the smaller parties are going to make a dent?
I don't want to sound like a dick, but
no, go on.
Probably not, to be honest, because the way it works, everyone's like, why is it always national, and why is it always the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
You know why, bro? Because the other little parties don't have money like that, and they do. And at the end of the day, money makes the marketing. Money is the one thing that made you all know what COVID is. Because let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, none of you knew what it was. I didn't even know what it was. You know what I mean? I never heard of this stuff until 2 years ago. So, and the only way we knew it was because of the marketing campaign, was the money behind it. So, in terms of, do I think of course, I've always been a guy that wanted the Greens to win because I like the green.
Yep. Fair enough.
But,
yep.
In terms of do you think I get people saying I think these guys could have a shot. Well, do they have $1 million? Maybe, probably not. So unfortunately, not to sound like a dick again, but it all comes down to that dollar, man, and that's why it's usually just National and Labor. But in terms of the future, politically, I don't really know too much, but I wouldn't put it past anybody that in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe this year, we'll see. I mean, we're dumb, so when I say we're dumb, I mean the majority of the population is dumb. They don't care. Just tell me what I got to do, and I'll do it. Hurry up, just make it go back to normal. I do believe that we will inevitably have another lockdown. There's just a lot of signs from even outside of politics that I'm seeing that I'm like, for instance, I'll just quickly say this, they valued the metaverse at $13 trillion within the next 10 years. How do you think we're going to get that much of a market cap into the metaverse if people don't even care about it right now? Well, one way is that we keep you locked inside, and so you do like it now, and you will. Where you live now. And I do believe things like the kids learning online throughout the lockdown, that's just you to get used to all of what's to come.
Conditioning.
That's it, man. I mean, it's just like learning online, but now we just sit. Your daughter can just sit in her room with her glasses on, and her teacher's in his room, and in his house with his glasses on. And I will say there are going to be a lot of benefits, but I'm just saying, in terms of when I look at stuff like that, because I am a bit of also a crypto nerd a little bit. So when and I'm up to date with a lot of things, and so when I see stuff they're evaluating the metaverse to be so and so much money, blah blah blah. You're in my brain, well, how do you figure that? Because I know most people don't care about that shit. They're not going to go get an Oculus. That's too much money. Then they're not going to do that. You know what I mean? They're not going to buy this and that, unless you guys are figuring out something where it's digestible, in terms of what Zuckerberg said, glasses. I mean, you got to just look at it. People can say, no, we wouldn't do that. Bro, you buy a fucking $1,300 phone every year just to upgrade it so you have the same phone with a different number.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? I'm talking about the iPhone. It's like, and I got one too. Mine was given to me. I didn't actually pay like $1,400 for it. But the point is, I know a lot of people, man, and a lot of people that don't have money like that. You don't have a lifestyle like that, but you want to keep up with what's hot. So you get the new iPhone, you get the iPhone XL or the double XL iPhone. It's going to be the same with the glasses, man. And I'm not saying that to say like I won't be involved. Of course, I'm very, very intrigued to see what some of these worlds are going to look like that I already am following that are getting built right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so how do you get people there? Well, you're going to have to force people into an environment where they're going to have no other choice but to be in that world. So how are you going to do that?
Yeah. So you're thinking other variants, the twindemic with flu that they've been talking about, that sort of carry on, pressure on the health system.
I mean, yeah, people would say to me, so you think there's going to be another variant? Bro, it could be anything. Like, I think it's like Godzilla's outside at this point, and you guys would believe it. You know what I mean? But like, if you had said 2 years ago, hey, man, they're going to say there's a virus and everyone's going to die from it, and the fucked up thing is you're not actually going to die from it, and only people that really have like a severe condition and blah, blah, blah are going to be affected by it, but we're just going to tell everybody, and then there's going to be vaccine passports, and then you actually won't be able to go into shop. People will just be like, shut up. It's too much.
Yeah.
You sound like a nutcase. I'm going to work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like 2 years later, we're in that, and it's normal. So when I say these things to certain people about metaverse, they're like, what? What are you talking about? That's fucking war. I won't be alive to see that. No, you'll be alive. You're working on it right now. You seen Ready Player One?
Nice. Yeah, no, I totally feel you. Yeah, a lot of the things that, right at the start of the pandemic, if you'd said that natural immunity was a thing, even a thing at all, let alone the fact that it was probably better, like, thousands of years of nature and history have taught us, than a vaccine immunity, people will call you a conspiracy theorist. That's turned out to be true. If you discussed, I'm parroting a little bit of Joe Rogan here, if I was totally honest, but if you'd said, previously in the pandemic that the vaccine wasn't going to stop transmission or contraction, then you're called a conspiracy theorist. Or if you're a right winger or whatever, or if you even brought up the discussion, there was a potential that this shit was created in a lab and it leaked out of there, then you're also, and all of that, it's all true now. So, like,
it came from bat suit, remember?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, someone ate a bat. Yeah, someone ate a bat. Yeah. Alrighty, so yeah, cool. That's awesome. Really enjoyed this, Sesh. What are your plans for the future, both with the social media stuff and your tunes?
So in terms of content, I mean, I know a lot of people send me stuff. They send me stuff every day, and they're like, why don't you do something on this and on that? And to be fair, man, it's like, because I'm trying to tap into people outside of just us. And when I say us, I mean people that already know what's up, man. We already know what's up, right?
Yeah.
There's no point in just keep fucking pandering to that crowd, because let's be honest, it's very small. It's
preaching to the converted. Yeah,
exactly. So there's no point in doing that. If you want to do that, that's great. Do that. But for me, I'm trying to reach people outside of that community, and the only way I know how to do that is with humor and stuff like that, right? So it leaves you laughing, but it leaves you going, hopefully, like, I didn't actually think about that. Hey, it's got a point or whatever. So moving forward, like, I guess I'm just gonna I'm gonna wait to see what happens. I know, like I said, people send me stuff. They're like, why don't you do something on this? Why don't you do something on that? Because nobody cares about that stuff, bro. Nobody cares about the politician. Nobody knows that left because of something like, and I'm not talking about broomstick. I'm just talking about, there are a lot of people that go real deep, and they're like, but this guy is associated with this guy. I was like, well, ask anybody that sits at home and watches the TV who that person is. They won't have a fucking clue, bro. So again, I would just be making this content for you, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to reach everybody, So unfortunately, like, it's like what I would say when people would send me things, little people that are up here that I know, and they would send me things like, I can't say that, man. And I would tell them, I would be like, yeah, you're giving me documentation of all these things that are going to happen, but I'll tell you what, I'll put it this way. if I'm watching me and I go, yeah, I go to these documentaries, I'm gonna write somebody from Reddit could have just wrote that. Somebody from YouTube could have wrote that. Who? So the point I'm trying to make is like that's why I always include Jacinda in these skits that I do, because you can hear it from the horse's mouth herself. Do you understand? You can see there's no misinterpreting anything. You watch her and then I react. You know what I'm saying? So I have to wait to see what's going to happen. Right now, put it this way, where the mandates have dropped and stuff like that. So
some have.
Yeah. So me going on a rant every week about come on man, it's just gonna make people switch away. It's gonna make people go, you got what you asked for and you're still complaining, unfollow, you know. So it's sad, but that's the reality, man. That's the reality. You gotta, like, for me, I have to think like both sides. I can't just think about us, or else I'm gonna end up like these people that sometimes abuse me in my comment sections when I go live, and they're like, "Why are you?" So I started a podcast, and I started talking because I'm trying to build something here, and I had a conversation about the Oscars and stuff, and people are like, "Why are you talking about Will Smith? He's part of the problem," and blah blah blah. It's like, or I'm trying to do something that's got like a podcast that's got fairly balanced, info. There's stuff for people that are in tune with what's happening mainstream and pop culture and stuff, and then you slip a little bit of like what's happening. You give them a little bit of that, because if you just keep going, hey, and also, people, they're not going to watch, and I'm just going to lose people. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what I'm trying to do. So moving forward, I'm continuing with the podcast. We're shooting our second episode. My sister actually just texted me, and I hope that's not her bailing. But we're meant to be filming on Monday, and it'll be coming out on Wednesday night, the second episode. And I got a lot of stuff to say in that. A lot of good stuff to say in that one. With the music, like I said, I got the "You're Not My Mom" single coming out. I also have like other works. Like I've produced and co-written a whole album for an artist called William Singe as well. That's definitely coming out later on this year. So I got a lot of stuff in the works behind the scenes. And then that's about it for now. And then whatever else comes our way, I'm sure you'll hear me say something about it.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll get you. I'll drop you an email after this if you want to reply back with links to these things that are coming up, or directions or whatever. I'll chuck a post up on Kiwi Voice as well. I'm sure a lot of people would be keen to see all of that stuff. And I'll be watching with interest. Like I say, I've been a fan of the music back in the day. Continue to be a fan now with what you're saying. Really stoked with the message you're getting out there and the way that you do it, the creative way that you're doing it, Sesh. It's been bloody awesome talking to you. I have to admit, I'm stoked to have gotten you on in a hurry. Thanks for replying to my pestering emails.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I'm sorry for the late replies, man. I'm always like doing stuff, and I really need somebody to take care of, because I got a couple other people that want to do things as well, and they're like, hello. I'm like, oh, fuck. Sorry. No, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate being on here, and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Awesome. Hey, so that'll do us, team. We'll let Sesh carry on his way. Keep an eye out on the recorded post when it finally goes up, a few minutes after this is finished, and I'll start chucking the links up there. And have an awesome long weekend, my man. And we'll keep in touch and maybe get you on later on down the track.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. See you, mate.